Hello and welcome to the program Midday Discourse on Global Television. My name is Anthony Momodi. Welcome to today's discourse where we'll be looking at salient issues trending in Nigeria. And of course, we're no other far away from the trending issue, which is the sad killing of over 150 Nigerians in two local government areas in Plateau State, specifically the Bakiladi local government area and the Bokos local government area. These killings occurred on the eve of Christmas, talking about the 24th day of December 2023. Fast forward to Christmas Day, and the death toll has continued to rise from initial 15 number counts given to 100 to 150, and now it's on the rise, and it's very, very sad. The president has again issued another stern directive to the relevant security agencies to, as a matter of urgency, ensure that they go after the perpetrators of this heinous crime and bring them to book. We've also had the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the person of Tajuddin Abbas, who has also condemned the killings in its entirety, describing it as barbaric and inhuman. So has the Northern Elders Forum come hard on the perpetrators of this crime. The big questions pundits, observers, and political analysts have been asking is, where were the security formations stationed in Plateau State? The same occurred last year, the year before that, same occurrence. It seems that at a certain point in time, the security formations in Jos, Plateau State specifically, the Riom local government area, they seem to go to sleep or seem to disappear when these bandits or insurgents come into town and kill people. 150 people were killed, gunshots were held, about 212 or more houses were burnt down. So the question is, where were the security agencies when these gunshots were being fired? Where were they when these houses were being burnt? Were there no prior information? The IG of police has also said he has sent his squad after the perpetrators. The question is, you're sending your squad after the perpetrators. Where were they when this mayhem was being perpetrated? How come not even one insurgent or one of these killers were gone down or even arrested? This makes a very big talking point, and that's why we decided on this program to look at how to apprehend the perpetrators of this heinous crime. Another person, but immediate past African Union Eco-Socc Nigerian representative to the body, talking about the regional body, in the person of John Oba, is the man to help us look at this very disturbing occurrence. Nice to have you on Midday Discourse.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, let's look at how would you describe this occurrence? It happened last year, the year before that, and again. And we know that, knowing just very well, there are strategic formations where this security, Nigerian army and other forces are stationed. Does this look like there's a connivance somewhere between state actors and non-state actors?
Well, I would say it's very, very unfortunate, because you said last year, killings in Mago local government has been happening since January. Every month. In fact, in June, about 150 indigenes were killed. And January 2nd, 3 people were killed. February, the same thing. March, April, that is how the killing has been going on. And after the killing, the Chief of Army Staff declared an operation there and said they were going to apprehend the people, and even announced that it was temporarily relocating to the local government. But that never stopped the killing going on. The president declared a state of that, Marshal, the Chief of Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, to do something there, the same thing, nothing is done. And even the governor, this current governor, declared, instituted Operation Rainbow. And that operation, we never had either they are effective or not, because there was no sign that, there has not been sign that there are security agencies in these two local governments, especially Mango and this Bakiladi local government. And that is where the killing has been going. Every single month has been killing in those local government, and nothing is done here. So we can't rule out the fact that there are compromises, probably between the security agencies and all these assailants, because they seems to know, they seems to understand the security apparatus. They seem to know the way they move, and they seem to know how to strike without being detected. And before you know, they strike, kill, burn houses, and then disappeared into the thin air. So I think there's something wrong that the security apparatus are not yet telling us, because we can't say that these assailants are more intelligent or are more better than the Nigerian army or than the police. But they've been killing without being apprehended.
Okay, let's look at the fact that the issue of, yes, we're not security experts, but the fact that obviously there were gunshots in the air, and this lasted for more than an hour at least. Before you kill 100 people, it must take an hour or more. Is it safe to say the police never had a gunshot in Bokos local government, never had a gunshot back in Ladi?
You know the way the military and the police operate is quite different from what we see from outside, because at times the police may be standing by and a crime is going on without being issued order to do something. They may not do anything. Even hearing the gunshot, if the military are not giving a specific order to move in, they won't move in, because they needed to be permitted to go in. I think that is what in a special case like this, like the Plateau, like all these terrorist attack in Niger and all those things, I think there is need for the leadership of the security agencies to give direct order. Once you hear any sound, please move in. There is no need waiting for order from above before you start moving in, because it has been a practice that crime will be going on. It is after the perpetrators are gone, then you see the police moving in or the military moving in, and then coming there to harass the innocent people that have just been traumatized by the criminals. Those are the people that the security, the police will pounce on, because they just want to be seen as working. They just want to be seen as active, and which is wrong. And it's something there's need to be a total overhauling and another strategy put in place to ensure that this continuous killing is nipped by the bud. So I think there is something wrong that the leadership of the security should look at.
Okay, let's look at Plateau State itself, the government, or the current government, Caleb. When he spoke with journalists after the killing on the 25th, he said 64 communities have been overwhelmed, and they're currently looking for ways to house the displaced persons. Do you think the government of Plateau State on their own have done enough to protect the lives and property of its citizens? Because the last governor, Bakul Simon Lalong, was accused, who is now in the Senate, was accused of seeming to have sympathy for the killers and the other set of religious people, so to say. Can we say there's some deliberate connivance somewhere, and why is it difficult for the state government to be able to put a stop to this?
We can't say there may be connivance, but we can't say with the governor, because we just said the governor is the chief security officer in the state. But you should understand that there's little they can do compared to mobilizing the police, mobilizing the military, because the command comes from the federal. The command comes from the federal. Even the security agencies that they established, they cannot arm the security agencies, because you can imagine what happened within the former governor of Benue State and President Buhari, to the level that it turned to an altercation that the governor had to accuse the president, because they had soldiers there in Benue, but the killing kept on going until the governor insisted that he was going to arm those security agency secretary.
There's Samuel Otom.
Samuel Otom. He had to, no, not Samuel Otom, the immediate past, the immediate past governor. He had to say he was going to buy AK-47 for them, and even with that, there was a threat from the federal that you have no permission to arm the security agencies because those are the people that the governor have authority over. The governor don't have authority over the police as such, because when they get to issues like this, even the commissioner of police will have to take permission from the IG. So that is why that is a bottleneck that is causing some of this crime to fester, because there are levels of command that need to be satisfied before you can do anything, even in the state. So the governor they don't have much to do. They are just, when it comes to issue of security, the governors are just figurehead. The command comes from the federal.
Well, let's look at the past governor of Plateau State, Samuel Along. We've not heard him make any statement, even with this killing. Does this go to show the previous alleged or allegations against him that he seems to be taking sides, or seems to not seem to, speak up for his people or against these killings?
Something I know about our politicians is that they allow personal interest to override the public interest or the general interest of the people. So you may not be far from the truth, which I may not be able to single-handedly confirm whether there is connivance or not, whether he's sympathetic or not. But I know.
Why is he not sympathetic?
But I know that
speaking out.
Yes, probably he may not be speaking out because of his own personal interest, and that is it. Because of his own personal interest. That is why at times you can safely say that probably he's sympathetic. You can imagine what happened even while he was there as a governor. He never did much. Even we knew that the former governor of Benue said maybe we may say, okay, he's ranting, but he kept talking. He kept shouting. But you never heard this from the Plateau State immediate past governor. He wasn't saying anything. He was just quiet. So if people say he's sympathetic to them, well, I can't say no, because I know that our politicians can sacrifice anything just for their personal interest, just for their personal gain. And you can see the way the type of favor he's having with this government. You can see the type of influence he's pulling on this government. So you cannot say that, yes, it doesn't have this thing. It doesn't have personal interest in his protecting. Even under the government of Buhari, he has personal interest, which I'm very sure may cloud his sense of reasoning and may cloud his decision on, solving this security issue. So we can say, yes, he's sympathetic. Okay,
let's now look at the people of Plateau. There's this accusation that it's technically it seemed, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, one of the leaders, came out to say it looks like this is a very strategic and deliberate, cleansing that is being carried out. Looking at Plateau and the fact that there's this notion that some persons in the north have deliberately wants to capture some areas of Plateau State because they believe it belongs to them. Do you think that narrative is what we're seeing playing out? And if that's the narrative, why is the Nigerian government allowing this to, continue?
Well, I can say probably because we know for some years now, the Fulanis have been saying that they own Plateau, because they believe that the area they are fighting for is very fertile for their cattle to graze, and ditto Benue, because they are on the same axis, and they've been fighting on that. And they've said it severally that that place belonged to them, and they were going to fight the Mietialas of this world, all of them, yes, the cattle breeders. They've been saying that that place is meant for them. So you can't rule out the fact that that may be some of the genesis of this killing, because just to chase out the indigenous of that place and then take over. Because all this while we've not heard about any Fulani being killed there. We've not heard about
any of them
arrested. So you can't rule out the fact that is the notion. And they've said it severally. It's not something that you need to be missing word, you need to be mixing word about. It's something they have said that is their land, just because it's easier, it's good for them to graze. So I think there is ethnic reason behind these killings. There's really ethnic and this thing. And the Plateau indigenous are not cowards. They are not cowards. But it seems as if the government has been able to clip them by collecting some of the weapons. You know, there was a time there was this weapon, this thing collecting.
Yes.
They say you should bring the weapons you have, and then they will give you some money and all those things. So we can say that probably it is because they don't have access to arms. If you are to leave them, I'm sure these people cannot operate the way they are operating now, because the plateau indigenous that I know, they are bold, and they can challenge. If they are left on their own, they can defend their territory.
Okay, let's talking about leaving them on their own now. Can we start looking at the issue of community policing? Does this come to mind, and how important would it be? Do you expect Governor Caleb to take the initiative that late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu took when he had to do with the open grazing law, that he had to form the Amotekun corps? Yeah,
but you know that we have this common slogan that the security is the business of all.
Oh,
yes.
Everyone's business.
And normally, I am a proponent of community policing. Yes, because I know these people know themselves. They know strangers when they come in. There are some communities, once you walk in, almost everybody, we know that you are there. And secondly, we have short manpower when it comes to the security agencies. So they cannot comb the whole community. And that is why community policing is very important. But the fear has been that the leaders will take advantage of
the state government.
The state government and even the
traditional rulers.
The traditional ruler, the local political leaders will take advantage of it and use it to wish hunt their rivals. But what we need to do is that we need to weigh the pros and cons of both of these. Because if they are able to protect themselves and save their community from this type of attack, I think it's good you let them go. You give them the opportunity to protect themselves. I'm telling you that if those community boys and women who are able to join the force, if they have, even if it's Chakabla, these guys will be careful before coming in. They will think twice before attacking that village, because they know that someone will respond even before the police come in. So community policing is now necessary, is needful now. Because we are talking about Plateau today. We don't know any other distance. Even my state, Ondo, you have had several killings in the state. In the West, before we say West is a bit safer. But now you get there, you see a whole lot of this thing. But the deterrent we have in the West is that there is a Amotekun now. That even though they are not properly armed, but these people know that
there's a form of resistance.
There is a form of resistance that if you go ahead to do something, there are some people that will resist you before the police will come, at least aiding the police. And the people they've been arresting, they've been handing them over to the security agencies. So we need community policing. And one of the major reasons why some of the governors can't go ahead with it is because of the Constitution. And because the security is domiciled in the federal government, in the hand of the federal government. So by the time you are coming, you have some hurdles you need to cross, which some of these governors are not ready. What Akeredolu did, I pray God bless his memory, it is because he was a lawyer and he knows how to go about this. And he was bold enough to challenge the government at the central, even though they are the same party, to say that these are my people and I will defend them. Some say he's playing politics, but I think that politics he played pays off, because Amotekun was formed and they have armed, even though they are not properly armed like the proper security agencies, but at least they have something to deter the aggressors.
Okay, let's look at some of the stakeholders in this matter. We saw when the military misfired in Tudunbiri. We saw the National Assembly, we saw leaders of thought, religious leaders come out, and there were lots of funds donated and all. Have we seen that kind of support for this Plateau people now?
We don't.
And can we see, does that give us a sign that there's definitely something brewing that...
where, you know, like I said, most of our politicians play on interest. Now, we've not seen such type of support like the one those in Kaduna received. We've not seen it with Plateau. But I know that the National Assembly summoned the NSA recently. That was it June? They summoned him and ordered him to declare state of emergency in some part of Benue, of Plateau State. But that was not done. That was not done. Probably because of the interest too. And then we saw them also pleading with the president to do something. This president also ordered the chief of army staff that those killers must be apprehended. But that is what we've been seeing. We've been seeing the talk, but they've not been action. There are no actions. And that is the problem, because these guys are coming from somewhere. And I'm telling you, Nigeria's security agencies are well trained. They know what these guys are coming from, where they are coming from. But the problem we have, it is the interference of politics with security. This interference of politics with security. You know, under Buhari that time, we have soldiers coming out to say, we know the perpetrators. When we were about attacking them, we received call. And they say from the presidency, get back. And so you cannot rule out that fact that there are politics. And this politics thrived on interest. That's what we are seeing there now. That's what we are seeing. When the interest touches someone up there, you will see the reactions will be different. Now we've not had that. We've not seen those reactions. I've not seen any of the this thing visiting the place and call it, well, though this from Army staff actually visited, but of what impact is that making on the attacks? Because visiting them is not enough. Those perpetrators should be arrested. They know where they can arrest them. I'm telling you, they know where they can arrest them.
All right, let's look at, we had the Sultan of Sokoto, Sa'ad Abubakar III. He came out to say the bandits are always a step ahead of the government. We saw Sheikh Rimi Gumi enter the trenches, the bushes, to talk with this terrorist. Is there a role you think these two men can play to bring peace to Plateau State?
A lot.
And why haven't they taken those steps?
A lot, because when you look at the perpetrator of this, they are not just looking at harnessing the land alone. There is also this religious motive that is pushing them and is making them to want to do everything just to pass a message that they are doing the jihad. So coming out to say they are one step ahead, I think I support him, because that was why I said in the first time that there is a connivance. These guys seem to know every move of the security agencies deployed to that local government, same local government. And yet these guys kept attacking and the military seems not to know. So definitely there is a connivance, and because of that they get enough information to make them a step ahead. And don't be surprised. I saw a video some times ago where a military guy was calling those on the highway and telling them that these guys on bike are coming, let them go, give them safe pass. And you see him with all these guys on bike. We see him, and he was calling, and he was speaking in Hausa until a friend interpreted and said, look at what they are saying. It was a video that went viral, but nothing was said about it. So definitely there is someone there probably coordinating these guys to achieve the same religious goal that, in quote, they think they are achieving. But the leaders of thought can do a lot. If Gumi could locate where, you know, that time we were all shouting that if Gumi could locate where these terrorists were, and the security agencies, they don't know where they are.
And they couldn't even take Gumi for questioning.
They just even question him. Just patronize him. Please tell us where these guys are. Because, you know, when you say you want to arrest and want to take him for questioning, these religious fanatics will come up and say, okay, you are fighting against Islam. So don't even go there. He's a leader of thought. He's someone you can approach. Go to him. Ask for his assistance on this security issue. So now, if you want, some of them may be aware of where these perpetrators are. And I strongly believe that the level of information gathering, the SSS and the NIA in the military may know where some of these perpetrators are coming from. They may know where they are now. Only need command, instruction to go ahead.
Okay, in terms of command now, looking at the presidency and what Tinubu stands for, with all, he has given like 2 different orders now, from the first day he visited, or he made his thoughts about his feelings about the killings. He has issued another stern warning to say they should make sure these perpetrators are gotten. Do you see any sincerity on the part of the federal government and on the part of the security agencies? Do you think they'll be sincere enough to get the actual perpetrators, or probably what we're used to in Nigeria, where they get the innocent people and masquerade them or display them as the
perpetrators?
The perpetrators. Do you see what scenario can you see? Because if you were not there at the scene of the crime, and you are saying you are going after the perpetrators 48 hours after the deed has been done.
You know, like I said earlier, that Nigerian security agencies personnel are well trained. Yes, they are well trained. You know, a gunshot, a well-trained military officer can hear a gunshot and tell you the make of that gunshot, and tell you the direction that gunshot is coming from, and it will tell you quality information about that arm and how to go about them. They know it, but I think one of the major problems we have is the political will. Our leaders, our political leaders are good with rhetoric. They come out, talk, they come out, shout, and after that, nothing. If, as a commander-in-chief, I gave instruction and you did not obey it, I will throw you out. At least you will know that I can throw you at any moment and bring someone who is ready to do the work in. But we have discovered that under Buhari, the same instruction, Buhari will give instruction, the security hierarchy will disobey it. And look at, when Buhari gave the IG of police to move into Benue, he never went. And what did Buhari did? Nothing. Nothing. If that guy has been fired, the next person coming in will sit up. And we know that any slight mistake, he will, because we know our leaders don't resign. They don't resign. Let me tell you, if today, Tinubu get the chief of army staff fired, the next person coming, we apprehend these criminals. I can tell you that because he knows. That's why when it comes to military stuff, we need a leader, a president like Obasanjo, who will tell you to your face, if you don't do it, I will move you out. And he will remove you before you know what is going on. He will get another person that will do the job. And you see the job get done. Because people want to protest their positions. They don't want to be disgraced out of positions. So because of that, they work when they know that their interest is at stake. But when they know that they can give you flimsy excuses, and before you know, you overlook the instructions you give, what would they do? They will keep lagging behind and allowing the security to go worst, the situation to go worst, because they know that they are not going to be fired. They know that nothing is going to happen. You just say it, and when you call them, they give you excuses why that cannot be done. Something ordinarily that should be done, they will give you excuse.
All right, let's look at the Nigerian security architecture, even in terms of the manpower. Recently, we had the CDS tell us that 50,000 soldiers are the ones across Nigeria to fight this insurgency. Is Nigeria being realistic or serious about this fight against insurgency? 50,000 soldiers, how can they secure the landmass of Nigeria? And also looking at the fact that the landmass of even Plateau State would swallow that much of people. And also in terms of weaponry, we've had lots of the CDS talk about the need for more weapons and sophisticated weapons at that to fight these insurgents.
Well, we need more personnel. But at times, the strategy you put in place to deploy these few personnel you have also matters. And also the collaboration you get into with other security agencies.
Okay.
Because we have the custom also, they bear arms. The immigration officers, they bear arms. And we have other security, the SSS and all of them. So definitely, with these 50,000 military personnel, even though they are not, the personnel are short, the collaboration between these agencies could save the situation. But I think this issue of protecting my own territory, that is making the security agencies to work, yes, to work in silos. You see this one doing his own, this one doing, that is one of the main reasons. We know that, yes, we don't have enough manpower, the security agencies, also the arms. But I am sure we have military agencies that will produce arms. Why are we not investing in that? If
the recent NITCOM that...
yes, NITCOM. Why are we not investing in that? And just like we are now relying on Russia, South Africa, relying on US to supply arms, and then they turn into diplomatic issues. They want to get the better of it before they release their arm. You can't blame them, because giant of Africa. And then we have a private security company in Ogun State that is producing arms that even Belarus is coming to buy from them. Why not work with them and get enough weaponry as much as possible that you need? But we believe that it's only the one that comes from America that is authentic, or that is original. Okay, let's look at
I know you worked with the AU on certain other issues, not necessarily security, but with your experience as a representative of Nigeria at the AU and ECOWAS body, how would you describe the issue of Nigeria collaborating with other African, even West African nations for now to fight the issue of insecurity? We know there was a point Nigeria, Chad, and Niger had a partnership, but at the point, other nations pulled out, saying Nigeria was not as committed as them, and it was only Chad who won the fight. Their president even died in front of duty.
You know that collaborations within member states, sovereignty also play in. African Union have a whole lot of policies, protocols that the member state can adopt and work with. But most of the member states, first of all, think about their sovereign interest first. They first of all think about their sovereign interest. There is hardly, most of the country in Africa, in West Africa, are suffering from security issues too. We want to talk about Cameroon, we want to talk about, even Ghana we are talking about. They also have terrorist issues going on. It's just that our own is louder. And even South Africa, as sophisticated as South Africa military, they also have the security, terrorist issue going on. But the issue is that the collaborations are taking too long to materialize.
Okay.
The collaboration, look at the, when the coup issue in Niger came in, and already West ECOWAS was shouting, we will mobilize and mobilize and mobilize. And I was wondering, if you can mobilize like this to just attack Niger, and you want to attack Niger, why not mobilize to attack the terrorists? Why not mobilize? We can't do it, but I can't just phantom what could be the problem till now. I can't phantom what. Look at Lake Chad.
The Lake Chad,
Lake Chad is something that Niger, Chad, and Nigeria can just move in and find a way of clearing this guy out. But interests always play the worst on that. And that's why you see that they took that aspect, that area as headquarters. Even when the major project that should go through that place, because of insecurity, that project cannot, and the major pipeline stuff that should move. That is it, because I can't just phantom why, the reason behind their inability to collaborate. But I can tell you, AU have a whole lot of protocols, a whole lot of policies on ground that, you know, they can't force it on you because you have the sovereign immunity. So you need to adopt and domesticate. So, and if you don't, there's not much they could do.
Okay, aside the AU now, let's look at coming down to Kaduna, Kano, this state's Niger, this state's Plateau. Is it out of place for these states to form a common bond or force to fight this, or do you think the issue of that religion would not make it possible for such joint task force to?
You know, it's going to be possible because they all belong to the same religion group. And just like the West declared Amotekun, and as Ondo passed it to law, Ogun did, other Western states immediately, because they saw the threat as one threat, not individual threat. The fact that you are not suffering from it today doesn't mean that you won't suffer from it tomorrow. So I think the state could do that. Niger, Kaduna, and Kano could do that, even on Plateau, because they all suffer the same fate. I think the only state that I think is not so affected is Kano. But Kaduna is suffering the same state. In fact, these guys took over local government in Niger. They took over about 2 local governments that they are now collecting revenue from the farmers and collecting tax and saying that one of the guys is declaring himself as the governor of the state. It's something they can do, because if you chase these guys out of Niger, they enter into Kaduna or they enter into Plateau. And then you say, oh, I've chased them out of my place. And you can't station them. You don't have the manpower, especially Niger. Niger don't have the security strength to even man their borders, because the land mass in Niger is vast, and they cannot. So that is what these guys are taking advantage of. So I think it's time that not just the 3 states, the whole North, come together to form their own security apparatus to be able to defend their state, because the security agencies from the central cannot do it, because they don't have the manpower to do it. They don't have the manpower.
Well, let's look at in terms of foreign aid. Do you think that can come into play at any point? Getting in form of foreign assistance, do you think that can help in any way, even if it means getting funding from international organizations as a way to support this fight?
Well, if you are going
Have
to
we
do
got
that,
into that level?
if you are going to do that, you first think about your sovereignty first, because they will just come. You know, under Jonathan, there were mercenaries that were hired to fight the Boko Haram, and the mercenary was actually effective, even though it was not being publicized. But there were mercenaries from South Africa fighting alongside the Nigerian military to counter the terrorists. But when Buhari came, he sacked them and sent them packing. And then we saw the problem festering right under his watch. But I think states, when it comes to issue of security, cannot single-handedly do that. Yes, probably the federal government is the federal government that can do that and say, okay, we are going into a partnership with so-so country or with so-so security agencies, taking them as mercenary to work with the Nigerian military to fight these terrorists. Okay. But getting aids for what? To buy arms? Well, if we get aid to buy arms, good and fine. But okay. I can tell you that the Nigeria government has gotten aid when it comes to security support. But what did they use it for?
Okay, let's look at, as we wrap up, let's look at the issue of like now getting these perpetrators. I know we talked briefly about it, but is there any possibility we're going to apprehend the perpetrators of this crime using forensic methods? Do you think there's a possibility? Because like we rightly pointed out, when our security agencies see the shell of the bullet shot, they can't tell what kind of weapon is this and the source of this weapon and where it's likely to be coming from. Can we use that and other forensic methods to get the perpetrators?
Yes, very well, because there are ways you trace the weapon, you trace it to the seller. and the seller can tell you who he sold the weapon to. And then you can, a way of tracing the buyers of the weapon. It's there. Some of these things are properly documented, except those smuggled from Israel, Ukraine war that is going on now, and those smuggled from Sudan, where war is going on, except those ones you can say. But without that, without even tracing where the weapons are coming from, I can tell you that the Nigerian security, the military especially, can trace where these guys are.
So are you confident they would come out with the
I'm
sincere
not
reports?
confident they will come out. I'm not. Because, like I said, in this climb, politics override
the interest of the
the
nation.
interest of the nation. I can tell you that.
All right,
We've seen it. We've seen it all around. The politicians first consider their interest before talking about the interest of the masses.
all right, let's look at for the Plateau people now. What will be going through the minds of the survivors, and what kind of aid would they be needing right now to get over this trauma?
They're traumatized. Now, those survivors are traumatized, especially even those that have their relative being killed and mailed. They are traumatized. Now to go back there will be difficult. It will be difficult. So now they need every support they can get now. The national emergency NEMA should move in. And then I will say the governor should approach the president and ask those security Operation Rainbow he declared to be armed. The president should give, so that these people can work, just like the vigilantes worked with the military in Borno to tackle Boko Haram. So these guys can work with the military to confront these perpetrators, because these people, and even the villagers, if you ask them, they can trace, they know where these guys are coming from, and they can safely trace them to solve the problem once and for all. But it's just that the issue of religion, we play the issue of religion too prominent than life itself. I can tell you, some of our leaders prefer that someone like this should die than his religion to be touched. I'm telling you. So we hype the issue of religion so much than the issue of humanity. This person is a human being. Should he be killed like this? Should he be destroyed? If it was the attackers that were killed in this number, you will have seen here a whole lot of shout. You will have had a whole lot of cry. Hey, they came to our place to kill. They killed the cattle. They killed it. You will hear a lot of shout. But these people are human beings, and not much is being done to ensure that these killers are apprehended. To me, it's unfortunate.
What roles do you think the civil society organization can play to put pressure on the Nigerian army, the Nigerian government, to ensure that a thorough and a very sincere probe is done, and that the reports will be made public, and to also ensure that the perpetrators are actually brought to book? Can the civil society organizations, can the Plateau people
that should be
make a statement?
That should be their responsibility. The civil society organizations should hold the government accountable, and then should hold the leaders accountable. But they won't do it. We only have very few civil society organizations in Nigeria that will talk and say, this is not right, do it. But others are just to pay the bills. Yes, to pay the bills. I'm telling you, if they are funded today, they will go out and shout. But immediately that fund dwindles, they will come home and they will not say anything again. So we have not have a civil society of Nigeria that have national interest, except one or two that are taking the government to court. And now the government have even seen it as a career, that you are going to court every time. At times, you don't just go to court to patronize the government, to do the right thing. You shout to some level, and then you patronize the government. Praise them where they are doing good, and then call them to order where they are going wrong. Going to court every time, what impact? You know, our government don't obey the rule of law. They don't even obey court order. So going to court is like a waste of money and a waste of efforts. So look for another strategy to get the government to do some of these things. Or call international communities to look at it, because our people like recognition. So when the international community start shouting, you see them acting. But once the international community stop,
but are you also surprised that the international community haven't really even
they haven't really said anything about probably
this
because they're tired of talking and nothing is being done, and probably because they too have interest. Yes, probably because they too have interest, because these perpetrators, someone is selling them the guns they are using. Someone is supplying those weapons. And the person supplying those weapons will not want to hinder his own business, so he won't talk. And who are those supplying weapons? The France of this world, the US of this world, the Britain of this world. They are the business guys who are selling some of these weapons. And they won't want to hinder their businesses, so they may not want to talk. There is need for the international community to come out and talk, because the killing is becoming very, very unbearable. It's daily. You know, we are here today. We don't know who may be the next. That is it.
All right. A final take. Let's just, on the part of the presidency and the president specifically, would you be expecting the president to, let's say in a matter of weeks now, for him to call for the reports, and also to, just as a matter of national interest, ensure that there's a report that comes back to him, rather than just say these words and after 2 weeks everything goes to bed? Would that give us probably make the security agencies, more serious to deliver the goods?
I expected more from the president than just talking. Buhari, we have known him for talking, but now I had expected actions from the president. If you cannot do it, get out of my way. Get someone that can do it. The president should not just be saying, I'm expecting report. You gave instruction, that instruction should be obeyed. And if that instruction is not obeyed, get that person out of the way, get the person that will obey your instruction. And if the NLC is not doing the best, get him out, put someone else there that will put fire on the houses of this security chiefs. Yes. Let them get the work done. And once the work is done, got done, we praise them. Then, I mean, it's an issue of whip and carrot. If they don't well, and then you praise them. Either you give them incentive for doing well, and if they have not done well, get them out and get someone.
But are you also worried that none of the security outfit has taken responsibility? Nobody has said, is it the army that was supposed to be there? Is it the police? Is it? Nobody has come out to say.
Police have a base in Mango. The army have base in Mango. And you know the problem we have in this part of the world is that we don't take responsibilities. And you hardly find a leader who will go and resign and say, because this happened under my watch and I was not able to preserve and protect it, I am resigning. You can never get that. And then you now see blame game going on. It is the military, it is the police. Ordinarily, the police are not supposed to even fight war, because what we are seeing now is more than social security breakdown. It is war, and the military should be at the forefront of the war. So if you are talking, where I know we have Mopo and this thing based there, that should be able to do something too. But what their training is cannot be compared with the training of the military and what the military should do. That is it. Do you know that some months ago, the police successfully repelled some of these terrorists? It wasn't the military. It was the police that mobilized. Was it June or July? It was the police that mobilized to repel the terrorists. It wasn't the military. This is what the military. That's why they have a base. That is why the declaration of Operation. I forgot the name. Yes, in Damisa.
Damisa, okay.
That was declared there. Yet we have not seen any good result.
All right, a very sad commentary there concerning the killings happening in Plateau State, and also the match given by the President Bola Tinubu to all security agencies to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. So the big question is, would this directive be answered, and will they deliver the goods by bringing the perpetrators to book, despite not being able to even arrest even one of the terrorists or even kill one of them during the attack that lasted for hours, where as much as 150 plus Nigerians were killed in 2 local government areas of Plateau State, with over 200 houses burnt, with 64 communities also affected. The question is, where were they when all these actions went through? And also on the part of the people of Plateau, we're yet to see protests by the Plateau people to say enough is enough. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that the security agencies will do the needful. This is where we say a big thank you to a Nigerian representative, to the African Union Eco-Socc personality or official, official in the person of John Oba, who has been amazing with his analysis and giving us insight as regards what has played out in Plateau State, and we're hoping for the very best. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right, that's how we call it a wrap on Midday Discourse on Global Television. My name remains Anthony Momoni, saying have a very great day ahead, and go out there and ensure you're part of securing our great country, Nigeria.